The Manila Mayhem Vitaly's latest arrest. Vitaly Zdorovetskiy, a name synonymous with online pranks and public disturbances, found himself in serious trouble. In April 2025, the Russian-American YouTuber was arrested in the Philippines. His actions in Manila's Bonifacio Global City were far from humorous. He live-streamed a series of disruptive and seemingly criminal acts. This was not his first brush with the law. However, this time, the consequences appeared far more severe. The Philippine authorities were not amused by his quest for online content. His behavior, broadcast for all to see, quickly led to his detention, marking a significant escalation in his pattern of public disruption and disregard for local laws and customs. The arrest was a direct result of Zdorovetskiy's own broadcasts. He documented his problematic behavior, seemingly proud of the chaos he was creating. This included harassing security guards, displaying aggressive behavior, and causing general public alarm. The authorities in Manila acted swiftly to apprehend him. Witnesses reported a string of offenses that painted a picture of an individual deliberately flouting rules for attention. His actions were not isolated pranks but a sustained campaign of disruption. This pattern, unfortunately, was familiar to those who had followed his career, but the setting and the severity were new and deeply concerning for all involved, especially the local community. The initial reports from Manila detailed a chaotic scene. Zdorovetskiy, known online as Vitaly TV, seemed to be actively seeking confrontation. His livestream captured him engaging in acts that went beyond simple mischief. The charges would soon reflect the gravity of his conduct. For the residents and authorities in Bonifacio Global City, it was an unwelcome intrusion. His online persona, built on pushing boundaries, had crossed a significant line into alleged criminality. The digital footprint he so carelessly created became the primary evidence against him, a modern twist in the tale of a public figure's downfall. This incident in the Philippines was not an isolated burst of bad judgment. It was, for many observers, the culmination of years of escalating recklessness. Zdorovetskiy had built a career on shocking behavior. What started as pranks often veered into genuinely disruptive and sometimes illegal activities. The allure of viral fame seemed to drive him to increasingly extreme actions. This time, however, the location was different. The legal system he encountered was less tolerant of his antics. The global stage he courted for his stunts now watched as he faced serious repercussions, far from the familiar territories where he had previously operated with a degree of impunity. The charges laid against Vitaly Zdorovetskiy in the Philippines were extensive and serious. They painted a picture of a man on a rampage rather than a harmless prankster. He faced accusations of harassing and attempting to kiss security guards. More alarmingly, he was charged with attempting to grab a security guard's firearm. The list continued with theft of a patrol motorcycle, an electric fan, and even a tricycle. He was also accused of threatening to rob a woman, trespassing on private property, and recording people without their consent. These were not minor infractions. They were significant alleged crimes. Further charges included fabricating negative reviews about local businesses, likely to cause them harm or extort them. Vandalism was another count on his growing rap sheet. The Philippine authorities also charged him with unjust vexation, burglary, theft, and the broad charge of alarm and scandal. Each of these charges carried potential prison time. If convicted on all counts, Zdorovetskiy could face up to 24 years in a Philippine prison. 5 of these charges alone could each result in a minimum of 5 years, underscoring the severity of his alleged actions and the stern view taken by the local judiciary. Compounding Zdorovetskiy's predicament was his international status, or rather, his lack of a welcoming nation. Philippine authorities declared him an undesirable foreign national. They sought to deport him, but this proved problematic. Both Russia, his country of birth, and the United States, where he held a green card, refused to accept him. Russia reportedly disowned him, with officials stating he must face justice in the Philippines for his actions. This left him in a peculiar and precarious legal limbo, unwanted by the countries he had ties to, and facing serious charges in a foreign land. The United States' position was that since Zdorovetskiy was a U.S. green card holder and not a full citizen, they were not obligated to intervene or accept his return. Philippine Interior Secretary Yanvic Remula highlighted the dilemma. Our problem is that Russia is not accepting him. Neither does the U.S., where he is a green card holder, so we don't know where to send him. This diplomatic standoff meant Zdorovetskiy remained in detention in Manila awaiting trial. The very global reach that fueled his fame now contributed to the complexity of his downfall, leaving him stranded and facing a harsh justice system. From pranks to prison, a history of controversy. Vitaly Zdorovetskiy was born in Russia in 1992. He moved to the United States as a child. His early life included a series of odd jobs and a brief, often glossed-over stint in the adult entertainment industry. These experiences perhaps shaped his later pursuit of attention and fame through more unconventional means. He eventually found his calling on YouTube, launching his channel Vitaly Zdorovetskiy. The platform became his stage for a brand of shock comedy and public pranks that quickly garnered a massive following. His channel grew to boast over 10 million subscribers, a testament to the viral appeal of his controversial content. His YouTube career was punctuated by numerous high-profile stunts that often landed him in legal trouble. In July 2014, he invaded the field during the FIFA World Cup final in Brazil, an act of trespassing seen by millions globally. This set a precedent for similar disruptions. In May 2016, he was arrested for trespassing after climbing the iconic Hollywood sign in Los Angeles. Just a month later, in June 2016, he streaked during Game 4 of the NBA Finals, again facing charges for trespassing and disrupting a major public event. These incidents cemented his reputation as a provocateur. The pattern continued. In October 2017, Zdorovetskiy ran onto the field during Game 5 of the World Series in Houston. Each stunt brought him more views, more notoriety, and more encounters with law enforcement. His behavior was not confined to trespassing at sporting events. In 2020, he faced a more serious charge of aggravated battery in Miami Beach, Florida. This stemmed from an alleged unprovoked attack on a female jogger. This incident signaled a darker turn, moving from disruptive pranks to accusations of physical violence, raising alarms about the trajectory of his public persona and private conduct. These past infractions paint a clear picture of an individual who consistently pushed legal and social boundaries. His persona was built on being a controversial figure, one who thrived on the shock value of his actions. The arrests were almost part of the brand, content for future videos, and proof of his edginess. However, the sheer number of arrests across different countries highlighted a disregard for local laws and the consequences of his actions. What was once perhaps seen as youthful rebellion had morphed into a consistent pattern of behavior with increasingly serious legal ramifications, culminating in his current predicament in the Philippines. The influencer's dilemma, when clicks lead to cuffs. The case of Vitaly Zdorovetskiy raises broader questions about the responsibilities of online influencers. His pursuit of clicks and views led him down a path of escalating recklessness. The digital landscape often rewards outrageous behavior with attention, which can be monetized. This creates a perverse incentive for some creators to push boundaries further and further, sometimes into illegal territory. Zdorovetskiy is a stark example of this phenomenon. His career trajectory demonstrates how the desire for viral fame can overshadow good judgment and respect for the law, ultimately leading to severe personal and legal consequences for the influencer. Dealing with disruptive influencers like Zdorovetskiy presents unique challenges for legal systems globally. Their actions are often broadcast to millions, potentially inspiring copycat behavior. Furthermore, their international mobility can complicate prosecution and deportation, as seen in Vitaly's current situation. The refusal of both Russia and the US to accept him highlights a gap in how nations handle citizens or residents who become notorious for problematic conduct abroad. This leaves host countries like the Philippines to manage the fallout and bear the burden of prosecution and incarceration, often at considerable expense and diplomatic strain. The character of such influencers is often complex. They cultivate an online persona that may be very different from their private selves, or it may be an exaggerated version. For Zdorovetskiy, the line between his Vitaly Zdorovetskiy persona and Vitaly Zdorovetskiy the individual seemed to blur significantly. This blurring can make it difficult for them to disengage from the thrill-seeking behavior that defines their online brand. The constant need for new, more shocking content can become an addictive cycle. The adoration of millions of followers can create an echo chamber, reinforcing the idea that their actions are acceptable or even laudable, despite societal norms or legal prohibitions. Ultimately, Zdorovetskiy's story serves as a cautionary tale. It underscores the potential dangers of unchecked online sensationalism and the real-world consequences that can follow. The legal difficulties in managing such figures, especially when they become stateless by default, demand international discussion and perhaps new protocols. While freedom of expression is vital, it is not a license for criminal behavior or the endangerment of public order. The allure of internet fame must be tempered with a sense of responsibility, a lesson Vitaly Zdorovetskiy is learning the hard way, far from his subscriber base in a Manila detention center.